investigators for the department. Few announcement or housekeeping stuff. First of all, we need to let you know that we are recording the.
Yeah, you can record.
Yeah, we could. Yes, perfect.
Everyone, my name is Shanab Rosas, and I am a senior housing investigator for the Los Angeles Housing Department. Few announcement or housekeeping stuff. First of all, we need to let you know that we are recording this webinar. The reason why we're recording the webinar is because we post our webinars on our YouTube page. So in few days, usually 7 to 10 days, the webinars or the videos are posted on our YouTube channel. Also, we are gonna take questions and answer some of your questions via chat or in your voice, but we are gonna keep the questions to the end of the presentation. So once we're ready, we're gonna ask you to deactivate your microphone. If you have any questions, you just have to raise your hand, and that's all it's gonna take for you to ask a question or type it in the chat so we can type your answer. Thank you very much, everyone, for assisting. This is a part of our monthly webinars. Today, we're going to talk about the online services that Los Angeles Housing provided, Los Angeles Housing Department is providing, and how to access these online services. First of all, we're going to talk about who we are. So the Los Angeles Housing Department we renamed the department in 2021 to the Los Angeles Housing Department. Before, we were Los Angeles Housing and Community Investment Department. Basically, around 2000, maybe 10, 12, the department combined with another department, the Community Investment Department, and we united both departments and became one sole department. And that's why we were named Los Angeles Housing and Community Investment Department. But now the Community Investment Department became, again, its sole department, and that's why we're now back to Los Angeles Housing Department. What is our mission statement? Our mission is to promote livable and prosperous communities through the development and preservation of decent, safe, and affordable housing, neighborhood investment, and social services. So we're here to provide the best service possible for you, tenants and landlords, and all constituents of the city of Los Angeles. Our main webpage contains links to various resources and services. The site is housing.lahd.org. In the image, you can see a preview of how our landing page looks like, but for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna show you how it looks. So all you need to do is basically type in housing.lahd.org. And this is how our page looks like. If you need to see this page in different languages, all you need to do is just click where it says English, and then it's gonna give you a list of the different languages, and the system automatically is gonna translate to the language of your preference. So this is basically our landing page. Here you can see the different resources or online services that we provide. Going back to the presentation. Just for your information, we're gonna be jumping back and forth in between the presentation and my website, so that way I can show you whatever, to demonstrate whatever I'm talking about. Our online services, LAHD or Housing Department has designed one web page with all our online services and applications to save you time and improve processing time. So we have a specific section on our website that provides or gives you access to every single application or online services that the Housing Department provides. I'm going to show you in a moment, but you should know that for all of these applications or online services, you need to create an account if you haven't done so. So this account is going to ask you for your name, telephone number, email address, and sometimes an address. And we need all this information because in case, I don't know, you're making an appointment, for instance, with the housing department, we want to confirm your appointment and we need to send you an email. And that's why an email or your address is required. Or we need to verify that the service you're looking for is for a property that's located in the city of Los Angeles. And that's why we need your address. Maybe we need to cancel your appointment because we don't have our internet or network is down. And so we need to call you to let you know that we're canceling the appointment because our online services are broken. And so we need to cancel the appointment, and that's why we would need your phone. So that's why this information is required, and it's necessary when you are opening an account to use one of our applications. So let me show you our online services. So there are two ways that you can access our online services. Either you can type in housing.lacity.org/online-services, or simply on our website, you can go where it says services, which is on our landing page, and then click on online services. And there you're gonna see the different type of applications and services that we have created to for you to save time and efficiently do whatever services you need, you're looking for or you need. So just paying your bill, file a complaint, filed an application for just unreasonable, or whatever that service, it's whatever the service is needed. Going back to the presentation. For your convenience, the housing department created an appointment scheduler. Back in March of 2020, I'm sorry, back in March 2020, we closed our offices due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And because of our counter closures, we need to recreate applications and online services so the constituents of the city of LA could continue to receive the services that we were providing in person. However, because of the decrease of cases and the instructions of the government, we decided that we are reopening our counters. Actually, starting November of last year, we reopened our counters, but only by appointment only. And for that reason, we created this appointment scheduler that it's available through an Angelino account. An Angelino account basically is an account that's used by the city or created by the city of Los Angeles, not just the housing department, but the city of Los Angeles, for you to access the various city department online services that there are. So not only housing department has online services, but other departments, and through an Angelino account, you could access these services. Once you go or you create an Angelino account, you could schedule an appointment in our scheduling system. And for demonstration purposes, I'll show you how to create an Angelino account and how to access our online scheduler. But you should know that if you are trying to schedule an in-person appointment with the housing department, you will be required to show proof of COVID-19 vaccination. We're going to ask you for that along with your ID, and you're going to be required to wear a mask at all times while you're in the office, and only 2 persons are allowed per appointment. If you don't have an appointment, unfortunately, we cannot help you. You have to schedule an appointment in order for you to visit the housing department. You go to angelino.lacity.org to create your Angelino account. And in order for you to create an appointment or schedule an appointment, if you already had an Angelino account, then you're just gonna go to LHAD.service-now.com/APPT, and that will schedule an appointment. I'll show you an easier way to access this service. So if you go to our landing page, all you need to do is look for Housing Department Appointment Scheduler. Click where it says View. So here is where you create the Angelino account. If you don't have one, then you're gonna have to click Don't Have an Angelino account. You're gonna put your email address, create a password, state your name, last name, and your phone number, and then register. you're gonna receive an email, and always check your junk box. Many times, because you're not receiving often emails from this website, it sends the email, your email provider usually sends these emails to your junk box. So always try to look there if you didn't receive anything in your inbox. It's gonna send you an email trying to confirm your information. Once you confirm it, then it's gonna activate your account. So once you activate your account, all you need to do is just sign in. So I already created an account, then I'm gonna sign in. And I'm demonstrating how to schedule an appointment with the housing department. That's the email I used to create the Angelino account. My apologies. I know I was on mute. I was speaking, but I was on mute. I didn't have the ability to unmute myself. My apologies. Let me go back in to share my screen. There you go. All right. So once you put in your name, your email, and your password, it's gonna take you to this website. All you need to do is just click where it says schedule an appointment. And then, as I said, it's gonna ask you for whether or not you have proof of vaccination, of COVID-19 vaccination. So if you do, then you're gonna answer yes. And then you're gonna select the service that you're looking for. For instance, you wanna get a copy of a declaration of registration. So you pick the service and then you select the location. I wanna go to the main office on 7th Street. So I'll just click on the office and then it's gonna ask you for your phone number. So I'm gonna put the phone number. And you're gonna select the date that work best for you. I'm gonna pick March 17 for demonstration purposes, and then the time. Our offices are open from 9 to 4:30, but the last appointment we take it's at 4. So for tomorrow at 4 o'clock, I'm sorry, at 3:30. For tomorrow at 3:30, the last appointment it's already been taken, but I wanna go at 3 o'clock. So once you select 3 o'clock, just reserve your appointment. And there you go, your appointment is already scheduled. After this, you're gonna get an email confirming your appointment. Now, later on, you decided that you cannot make it because you have a doctor's appointment, you have to pick up your children, or whatever it is that can't make it impossible for you to show up. All you need to do is log back in, look for your appointment, and then cancel your appointment. It's gonna confirm whether you wanna cancel your appointment. Yes, I wanna cancel my appointment. And then it cancel your appointment. If you see here this date, it's already canceled and made the 3 o'clock slot available for whoever wants to come on March 17 at 3 o'clock. Now, if you want to schedule a new appointment, all you need to do is just to schedule an appointment again and then go back in. Now, if you didn't have proof of vaccination because you haven't been vaccinated or whatever the other reason is, then what you need to do is select no. And still we could provide services, but it's gonna be online services, virtual services. Either we can call you just for your appointment, or we can select a a Google Meet, a video call with you, so we can provide whatever services that we can provide online. So for in the list of the services, these are only the services that we can only provide online. For instance, you want to file an RSO complaint. So just click on RSO complaint. You have to select the locations just because the system works like that, but it's only virtual. If you notice, it doesn't give you any office address. It's only giving you the option for virtual appointments. Again, you just put your phone number. You select the time. This time I want to do it on the 23rd of March at 10 a.m. And then reserve now. Then your appointment is already being scheduled for March 23rd at 10 a.m. Now, because it's a virtual appointment, we're going to send you an email after that telling you your appointment details, including the Google link for the meet that you're going to have with us, either for a virtual meeting with a camera on or for a phone call. And you're going to receive a phone number where to call so you can meet with the housing department representatives. Always stay, check your junk box for this email or check your inbox, because you need to have the link on this email for you to be able to access your virtual appointment. This is just schedule your spot for on the day that you selected at the time that you selected, but it doesn't give you the details or where to go for your virtual appointment. So you still need that information that it's gonna be in your email. We usually send the email right after you schedule the appointment or no longer than 24 hours before your appointment. So stay in the lookout for the emails. Again, if you decided that you're not, that you cannot attend this virtual meeting, all you need to do is just cancel your appointment. Yes, cancel my appointment, and that's it. The appointment is canceled. And then later, if you decided that you could meet with us, then you can just schedule a new appointment. It's as easy as that. Okay, going back to the slideshow. We already went over these details. As I told you, our public counters are open Monday through Friday from 9 to 4. And again, by appointment only. We have different offices where you can come to meet one of our staff. The main office is on 1200 West 7th Street. The Central or Sunset office is a new office on Sunset Boulevard at 1910, Sunset Boulevard, Suite 300. The East office is in 2130 East 1st Street, Suite 2600. The North office or the Valley office is 6400 Laurel Canyon Boulevard, Suite 610. And the South office is in Torrance on 690 Knott Street, Suite 125 in the city of Torrance. So we used to have an office in the West LA area, which is still, office is still existing, but we're temporarily closed. And again, we have virtual services, and this is online. Moving forward, we're going to talk about how to know if the property is located in the city of Los Angeles. Many of us have a confusion, or many of us are confused about whether my rental unit or my property is located in the city. Just because it says Los Angeles, California 90003 doesn't mean that it's in the city of Los Angeles. So there's boundaries that separate us from the county of Los Angeles and the city of Los Angeles. And authority, basically, municipal codes, and the city has its own charter, its own rules, its own law. And that's why you need to know whether we can provide services or not, or any city department in the city of LA. The easiest way to find out is whether or not, when you called the police, when you call 911 because of an emergency at your unit, if 911 dispatches a LAPD officer or LAPD vehicle, then that means that your unit is obviously in the city of Los Angeles. But if you're not, then the 911 operator is going to dispatch the sheriff's department. So a sheriff's department vehicle are going to be arriving when there is an emergency at your home. Or another way to find out, or easier to find out, is for your electric service. If your electric service is provided by the Department of Water and Power for the city of Los Angeles, then that means that your unit is subject to the city of Los Angeles or inside of the city of Los Angeles boundaries. But if your electric service is serviced by Edison, then that means that your rental unit or your property is in this county of Los Angeles and therefore not subject to our authority or charter. Now, once you know whether your property is in the city of Los Angeles or not, you also want to find out if your property is subject to the Rent Stabilization Ordinance. Before I talk to you about how to know whether your property is subject to the RSO, I need to tell you what the RSO is. So basically, if you rent in the city of Los Angeles, your rental unit may be subject to the Rent Stabilization Ordinance or RSO. If the property was built on or before October 1st, 1978. So if the property was built or given a certificate of occupancy before October 1st, 1978, more likely is that your property or your rental unit will be subject to the Rent Stabilization Ordinance as long as it's offered for rent or rented. Units that were constructed after July 15, 2007 that replace demolished RSO units may be also covered under the RSO. And even if there was no demolition, but if new construction, regardless of whether they were built on or before or after July 15, 2007, may be subject to the RSO depending on how the new construction took place. Like maybe, is it attached to the original building? Is it attached to the original building? So all of these things matter. Again, not because it was built after 1978 or before, in between 2007 and current, means that it's not going to be subject. But in order for you to find out, the easiest way to do it is by texting, sending a text message with the word RSO to the following number, 855-880-7368. So you dial that number and you send a text message, RSO, the word RSO. Then the system is going to ask you for your address, the building number, and the street address. So for the building number, I think for you to use is that you should not use fraction numbers. So if you live, I don't know, on 3115 and a half West Main Street, you don't use the half. You're just going to put 3115 and then Main, not East, West, East Street Avenue, just 3115 Main. And then the system is going to tell you whether your property is subject to the RSO. Before that, I'm sorry, it's going to give you a confirmation if that's your rental address. It could be that there is a 3115 Main Street and 3115 Main Avenue. So it's going to ask you to select either or. Once you select the proper correct address, then it's going to confirm to you via text message if the property is subject to RSO. If it's not subject to RSO, it's going to give you information as to where to seek some type of advice. Maybe it's going to give you the county's phone number, the consumer affairs phone number, or legal services, whatever, or depending on the type of service that you need. But it's going to give you resources for you to seek assistance since you're outside of the boundaries of the city of Los Angeles. Another way to find out is by going to CMAS, www.cmas.lahd.org. CMAS is also a city website provided by the Department of Planning. And here, aside from just giving you information as to whether the property is subject to the RSO, it gives you other details about the building, where it's located, the parcel number, the surrounding areas, the jurisdiction of the fire department, the LAPD, and other information. I'm gonna go to CMAS for demonstration purposes to show you how it looks. So all you need to do is go cmas.lahd.org. This is the landing page. Then I'm gonna use an address that I randomly selected. This is just for demonstration purposes. There is no cases, nothing personal on this property. It's just an address we found that is subject to the RSO for demonstration purposes. And then just type in the number, the street address, and then click go. It's gonna show you where it's located. All blue square shows you how or where the parcel is for the property that I typed in. Here, it gives you the legal description of the property along with the address. If you notice here, it's a 6433 1 through 9. So that means that there might be 9 apartments in this building. If you want to see an aerial view or how actually this property looks like, all you need to do is click on this icon. And you can check on images taken since 2001 through 2017. That's the last time they took aerial views of this lot. You just click in there and that's how the building looks like. So in order for you to check whether the property is subject to the RSO, you're gonna click where it says housing on the housing tab. Click and then it's gonna display a information. So it tells you who, what department related to housing has authority over this building, Los Angeles Housing Department, our telephone number, our website, and then right here it tells you Rent Stabilization Ordinance. Then it says yes. So basically the property is subject to the Rent Stabilization Ordinance. There is no ELIS, meaning demolition on this building, filed or removal of the rental market, and it's not subject to the new rules of the AB 1482 because it's already subject to the Rent Stabilization Ordinance. So that's another way to find out. Let me go back to the presentation. And then another way to find out is on our own website. The Housing Department created this service by typing housing.lahd.org/RSO. If you go onto that website, I'm sorry. Let me see. It's gonna take you here. Once you type housing.lahd.org/RSO, and it's gonna give you a detailed information about the properties in the city of LA, how many units are in the city of LA. This is everything in the city. Now, if you're looking for a specific unit, either you type in the parcel number or the address. In this case, I copied the parcel number from the other address that I used for demonstration. You just put the APN or the address, click search, and then here's gonna give you details of that specific building you're looking for. So basically this is one property with 9 units. Down here it tells you the council district that it belongs to. This is on district number 3, 9 units, and there are all of them. So the main address for this building or the official address is 6433 Shirley Avenue. This is the parcel number in the city of LA, the zip code, and again, information about the council district and the number of units in this building. Okay, moving on. We go, now we're gonna talk about the other online services that we provide. One of the main ones is availability in our system to file RSO or COVID-19 renter protections complaints. The department investigates violations of the RSO and the city multifamily residential housing code. If you have experienced a violation of the RSO, the city is not filed eviction moratorium or are living under unsafe and unhealthy conditions, we suggest you that you file that complaint. We will help you address your housing issues or habitability complaints. For the RSO or the COVID-19 violation, rental protections violations, our department investigates several types of complaints. The main reasons for these complaints are the unit is not registered, illegal eviction, non-payment of relocation assistance, illegal rent increase, reduction of services, failure to post RSO notice, illegal buyout agreements, require online payment or electronic funds transfer, or harassment. So if you want to file that complaint, you can go access our website and the department is going to take a complaint. I'll show you how to file that complaint. If you have received a court document, such as an unlawful detainer or an eviction lawsuit, you need to seek legal assistance. You still could file a complaint with our housing department with that lawsuit, but we won't be able to file the answer or help you answer to that unlawful detainer. And for that, we're telling you, you must seek legal advice. We have a service that the city has a service or created a union of different legal aid agencies that's called State House LA that will provide you with different legal aid offices that will give you assistance free of charge or low cost to address your unlawful detainer. So to file the housing complaint, you have to go to housing.lacity.org/file-a-complaint. Or you can go to our website and find that service. Let me show you how. So you go to online services and then look for file the complaint, go to view, and here it takes you to the complaint form. So I'm gonna use whatever address. Hopefully that's an accurate address, otherwise I'm gonna have to use the other address. Oh, no, it's not an appropriate address. So I'm gonna use the same other address that I have been using for demonstration purposes. And then it's gonna ask you to confirm what's the address. Then you just select whatever applicable address. If you live in a unit number, you're gonna type in the unit number. And then you're gonna put your name, last name, and the best number. In this case, it will be a cell phone. If you have a preference on time to call, you could state it there. It's not mandatory, you don't have to. Email, it's not required, but it's suggested because now that we are doing online services only for investigations, everything is gonna be communicated via phone and email. So you will receive correspondence in your email. So suggested that you enter your email. And then you're gonna find, it's gonna ask you, how did you find out about this service? If you didn't know about this and you now are finding out, then you're gonna do other and you're gonna do webinar. Next step is gonna ask you for the landlord's information. It could be your landlords, your manager, or the management company. If you have the information, great. If you don't have it, you don't need it. But if you have it, it's better if you provide it. In this case, I'm just gonna skip it because I don't have it. Then I'm gonna move to the next step. Here, you're gonna state the type of, the details of your rental unit, such as I live in an apartment house. When did I move in? I moved in on January 1st of 2022. Number of bedrooms in my unit, 2 bedroom. What's my current rent? $3,000. How many people lived in the unit over the age of 18? 2. How many under the age of 18? 1. And then is the property in foreclosure? If it's in foreclosure, then hit yes. If it's not in foreclosure, obviously you leave it blank. If you don't know, leave it blank. And then you move to the next step. Then here you're gonna you're gonna select the type of reason why you're filing this complaint. So if it's more than one, it's okay to select any or all of the reasons applicable. I wanna file for an illegal eviction and an illegal rent increase. So then I just move next. And then here you have the opportunity to upload the documents that you want to submit if you have any. For all of the investigations, the main documents that we require are your rental agreement, if you ever sign one, or your lease, if you ever sign one. The notices related to your complaint, say the notice of rent increase, the notice of eviction, the notice of reduction of services, or whatever document that your landlord gave you. If they gave you any, it could be verbal evictions too, that's valid. Also, if you have proof of rent payment, usually we ask for the last 3 to 6 months of rent payment, unless we're investigating illegal rent increases going beyond 3 months or 6 months or 1 year. So we're gonna ask you for all the rent receipts or proof of rent payment going back as to many years that you're complaining about. And if you don't have the documents handy, you don't have to worry about it. You can skip that to the next step, but you will be required to submit documentation eventually. So here it gives you the details of your complaint. Based on the address that I entered, that property belongs to the north or the valley area. So the office handling that complaint will be the north. Once you're ready to submit the documents, you can fax them to this fax number or email them to this email address. If usually after you file the complaint, you will receive within 72 hours a phone call from one of our admin clerks to provide you information with your complaint number, who your investigator is, and ask you for the basic information that I just talked about. So once you're ready to submit the complaint, so all you need to do is just submit the complaint, and that's it. Again, you will receive a phone call around 3 days after you file the complaint to start your investigation. We also investigate complaints for unsafe or unhealthy conditions in your building. To make a complaint for the unhabitable conditions in your unit, you have to access our website at housingapp.lahcity.org/report violation. Or you can access our online services and report a violation. I'll show you how to do it. We do take complaints for properties that are duplexes, apartment buildings, rooming houses, bungalow complex, and multifamily buildings. For single family dwellings, condominiums, commercial units, vacant buildings, or vacant lots, we do not investigate these type of violations. That is the Department of Building and Safety, and you need to file a complaint directly with them at 888-524-2845. Or you can call the city's hotline at 311, and 311 will be able to take your building and safety complaint. Again, we only take the complaints for multifamily dwellings, 2 or more units in the lot, or occupy units. If it's 2 or more but it's vacant, we won't be able to inspect your complaint. I'm sorry, your unit. There is also other complaints where people can or want to complain for unsanitary conditions, such as infestation of roaches or mice or bed bugs, mold in the unit. Those type of issues are healthy issues, and for that is the health department that needs to investigate or inspect these type of violations. You will have to call the County of LA by calling 211. Instead of 311, it's 211. That's the county line, and you can file a complaint for healthy conditions or unhealthy conditions in this case. Okay, so let me go to the website so I can show you how to file a complaint with our department for an inspector. So either you type in the site that I gave you, or you go to our services. There was an easier access here, file complaint if you see violation here. Report a code violation. So you could blue and it will take you to the same other page that I had already selected. So this is information about what's gonna happen when the inspector is out in the field inspecting your unit. If there is no face covering, there will be no inspection. So you will be required to wear a mask at all times during the inspection, even though you're at your house. If there's no social distancing, meaning that if we're not gonna be able to be apart from you while doing the inspection, we won't be able to inspect your building. For every inspection, we ask you that there are no more than 3 adults in or during the inspection. Also, there must be a fresh air of ventilation in order for us to conduct the inspection. Open your windows, doors, so that way we can have, the air circulating during the inspection. If you feel sick or appear to be sick, there will be no inspection. It's at the inspector's discretion to reschedule your inspection, depending on the situation once he's inspecting the property. So this is a landing page for you to file the code complaint or inspection. Basically, it's gonna ask you for the address. I'm gonna, again, use the same address that I've been using for demonstration purposes. You click submit, you select whatever unit or property address is, and then you put your name, the phone number that works best for you, your email address, although it's not required, is suggested, highly suggested. And then the violation. If it's in the entire unit, so you're gonna type entire unit. But if it's in the kitchen, you're just gonna do kitchen. Whatever the violations are. Or wherever the violations, depending on what the violation and where the violation is, I'm sorry. So right here, you're gonna select the violation category. So for that, say I wanna complain because there is electrical issues in my kitchen. Then you select electrical, and then you're gonna select the type of violation. So it's gonna give you a detailed description of the potential violation. So I wanna complain because in the kitchen there is defective or broken or missing light fixture. So once you select that, if you notice, it appears on the drop down here on this box on the type of the selected violation. Also, I wanna complain because in my kitchen there is electrical service that requires maintenance. So you select that and then it's gonna show here. Now I wanna move to plumbing. There is unapproved plumbing gas or connectors or valves in my kitchen. So then you just do it. If you don't know the location or you don't wanna say the location, you don't have to, you can leave that blank. That's only for the inspector's note so he can better or target your violations right away. But if you don't know the location or don't want to state it, it's totally okay. You don't have to. Now, later when you're filing the complaint, you decided that this violation, these other violations were not accurate, then all you need to do is just click and remove from the list. And then it's going to remove the violations from the list. A tip for you or suggestion is that once you're ready to file a code complaint, you need to make sure that you list all the violations that you want to file for. If you file for certain issues or certain habitability conditions and later you remember the additional violations that you wanted to add, if the inspector is on the field and you want to add additional violations, he's not going to inspect the additional violations that you did not cite when you file the complaint. He's going to focus only on the violations that you address when you file the complaint. For additional violations, he's going to ask you to file a new complaint for the additional violations. It's not that the inspector is against you. It's not that the inspector is on the landlord side. It's just because by law, we are required to give the landlord notice about your complaint and the type of violation so he can have the opportunity to repair before our inspection. And so if we don't let him know before we showed up for inspection, if this is an emergency inspection, then we cannot cite it. So that's why the inspectors in many inspections, if you have experienced any, may tell you, you have to file a new complaint, even though they can clearly see that there is a hole in the wall, holes in the floor, peeling paint, and whatever else that weren't cited when you file the complaint. And again, it's not because he's not on your side and the landlord side, it's just because you did not complain when you had to. This is only for complaint inspection. For SCAP inspection, those are the systematic inspections. For that, it is required that they cite every violation they notice every 3 to 5 years when do this systematic inspection. But for complaint, they're gonna only inspect to whatever you allege on your complaint or your initial complaint. So once you cited all the violations, then you're gonna move down to the managers or landlords information. If you have it, good. If you don't have it, you don't have to. Once you do that, then you're gonna submit complaint. So the system automatic is gonna give you a complaint number, and then you're gonna receive a call approximately also in 3 days to tell you who the inspector is and the time and the date of the inspection. If you're not available on that day, you're welcome to speak to that clerk that's calling you to let them know that you cannot make it or you cannot be at home during that day, and you can change the inspection date or ask for an inspection date on a different date, wherever you're available. Try to do it when they called you, because if they call you, give you a date, and then you try to reschedule, sometimes inspectors are no longer available for your available date. So be ready when they're calling you to let them know what's your preferred date and time. So that way, if their calendar is clear, they can give it to you. Okay, that's for code complaint. We have other services. These are for landlords specifically. We have, for instance, a system that will allow you to file or submit your disclosure notice or your buyout agreements. If you, landlord, enter or executed a cash for keys agreement with your tenant, and what's a cash for keys? Basically, a cash for keys is an agreement where tenant is agreeing to return possession of your unit in exchange of some compensation, either monetary or whatever it is. So once you're ready to file this cash for keys, you could go to LHAD.service-now.com/TB, or go to our website where it says online services and look for file the disclosure notice and buyout agreement, and you could file this agreement online. If you, tenant, executed an agreement and you no longer wish to continue with the agreement and you're within 30 days of the execution of the agreement, or you think the agreement is illegal or whatever it is, you could always file a complaint the way I showed you before, file a complaint. And that's how we're gonna review your agreement. You cannot utilize this, file the disclosure notice to file your complaint or have your agreement or cash for keys canceled, because this service is only for landlords. They are required to file this cash for keys, and this is the website for them to file this cash for keys agreement. Also, landlords are required every year to register the rental properties with the city of Los Angeles to specify how much rent they're collecting per each unit and other type of tenancy information. So for that, they could go to housingbill.lacd.org/rent registry, or go to an online services and look for that rent registry application and select or enter the system to register your rental units. Before, or still actually, you could do a paper form to register these rental units, but sometimes it requires a lot of writing for all of the rental units, especially when you have a building that has, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 units in the building. And so once you do it online, the first time you create the account is gonna be a little, not complicated, but it's gonna take you a little time because you're gonna enter details of each rental unit. But then once you renew every year, you just have to click renew, and it's gonna be easier moving forward. Also, when there is errors or mistakes, you can always correct them online, and the system is gonna allow you to submit once the application is properly filled out. Versus if you do it in paper, you submit it, we at the counters cannot verify whether your application is correct or the information is properly filled. And then we submit it to the rent registry section, and they may send it back saying your property is not yet registered because you miss, I don't know, some information, or you give us the wrong information, or whatever it is. So online is the best and efficient way to submit this type of rent registry information. Another services for owners only is if you did improvements in your home, you did renovations in your rental units, then you can apply for a capital improvement, a primary renovation work, rehabilitation program for luxury exemption, I'm so sorry, seismic retrofit, or just unreasonable. So for all these applications, you need to do them now online in our housing.lacd.org/online services. You look for the type of the service that you're looking for, or the type of application you're trying to apply, say capital improvement, and it's gonna ask you for the property information and all the details about the improvements that you make in the unit. Before it was paper applications, we are no longer taking paper applications for cost recovery programs or for the just unreasonable increase. It has to be online, and all the evidence can be submitted via email, or when you're filing the application, you're gonna have an opportunity to upload all your documents. Also, another service for owners only is for your account to pay your annual fees or complaint inspection fees or whatever other fees there be. You could do this service now in person, but again, you have to schedule an appointment. But the efficient or most faster way to do it is by paying online. You have to go to housingbill.lacd.org/billing. And then you're gonna have to create an account if you don't have one, or log into your account if you already done it. And you could exempt your units there, pay for your annual registration or systematic code enforcement fees, and also fill out the rent registry form and obtain the copy of your RSO certificate automatically once you complete or properly complete or register your rental units. That's the easiest and more efficient way for the landlords to receive the copy of the RSO certificate. Again, the service is only for landlords only. If the tenant want to know whether the landlord has registered the unit, they can either file a complaint or request for a copy of the declaration of registration, and we'll tell you whether the property is registered or not. This is only for landlords. Another service is tenant habitability program. If you landlord are doing, I don't know, work in the unit because you're changing the plumbing, for instance, you will be required to get permits with the Department of Building and Safety. Building and Safety is going to ask you for a clearance from the housing department before they can give you permission to start the work or release the permits or clear the permits. So for that, you're going to have to go to online services, ask for or apply for tenant habitability program, and submit your permit for clearance. If you are required to file for a tenant habitability plan, you're going to follow the instructions, receive emails from the inspectors, and they're going to tell you the process or the step for you to file for this habitability program or continue with the application for the THP. If you tenant receive a tenant habitability program and want to file for an appeal, you have a deadline to follow. Make sure that you read the paperwork and make sure you submit your appeal and all the applications timely. If you think that the tenant habitability plan is illegal or you don't agree with it or whatever it is, you can file a complaint with our investigation and enforcement section, and they'll tell you whether the plan is it's legal or if the landlord has followed with the procedures to properly file this tenant habitability plan. Other services for landlords or lenders in this case is apply or register your rental properties when they're in foreclosure. Lenders are required by municipal code to register their foreclosed property. They could do that by accessing our online services application and look for foreclosure online registry, and they have to input the information for the property that is in the process or has been foreclosed. Also, if you, citizen of the city of LA, want to know which properties are in have been foreclosed or are in foreclosure, you can go to the foreclosure geo registry at housing.lacity.org/geo foreclosure. And there, it's a public portal where you could check which properties have been foreclosed or are in foreclosure. Or you also can, as a lender, find out information related about this property. Other services for tenant is file an accessibility complaint. For instance, if you are a tenant that requires a ramp because you are on a wheelchair, you use a wheelchair, or one of your family members needs a wheelchair ramp, then you have asked your landlord to give you permission to install a wheelchair and he doesn't give you authorization. You can go to our online services and then look for the file an accessibility complaint. And then it's gonna ask you for your name, details like name, last name, phone number, email, and the detail of your complaint on what type of accessibility service you're looking for. And then we're gonna investigate the complaint or refer it mainly to either our investigations and also make a referral to the Department of Fair Housing. This website is also, or application, I'm sorry, this application is also available for you to file a discrimination complaint based on a disability. So you can also file a complaint there. And again, we will refer it to either our investigation section or to the Department of Housing Rights Center or Fair Housing. Another services for tenants or any citizen of the city of Los Angeles is to look for affordable or accessible housing. So if you're looking for affordable housing, you can go to our website at the online services portal and look for the application Affordable and Accessible Housing Registry, or you can type in lahousing.lacity.org/AARR I'm so sorry. And then it's gonna give you details about the different properties in the city of LA. You're gonna have to type in your preferences, such as I'm looking for a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom with a pool, with a laundry facility, with a gym, or other amenities that you're looking for. And then it's gonna give you details of the different apartment buildings in the city of LA that are affordable. If you property owner are looking to provide your rental unit or rent your rental units as affordable housing, you can register your rental properties in this website as well. Now, another main application that it's very helpful for you to contact us, because we know that a lot of citizens or constituents of the city of LA are trying to reach us. The best way for us to serve you is by calling our hotline. You can call our hotline at 866-557-7368. We're open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4:30. So except holidays. So you can call our hotline and we can answer all your questions over the phone. But if you prefer to send us an email, you can always go to our online services and select the option Ask for Housing. Ask Housing online. I'm gonna jump out of this and go in there for demonstration. This is a very helpful tool because those emails are answered usually the same day or no longer than the next day. So you go to Contact Us. You click there. And then it's gonna show you the application Ask for Housing. Just click on the Ask Housing for questions. And then here it's gonna ask you about the details of your question. I wanna ask questions about the code enforcement program. I'm gonna put my name, my last name, the property address. Again, this is really important, especially if you're writing an email for us a specific question, because we want to know whether we have authority over your building. We don't want to tell you that you are protected when you may not be under our laws because you're in the county of LA or in another city. You put the city, the state, the zip code, your phone number, your email, and the type of issue. So here I have a complaint number 675-389. And my issue, the inspector was in the building. I asked him to inspect for the smoke detectors. Those are violations that I cited when I filed the complaint, and he refused to inspect. I need to speak to a supervisor, for instance. Okay, this is just an example. Or I want to complain about the different type of habitability issues. Please file a complaint on my behalf. And we'll do it if you give us enough details about your complaint. So once you type in the issue or the comment that you're looking for, it's gonna ask you how you heard about this. If you didn't know about this service and now you know because of the webinar, you're gonna click other, you're gonna do webinar, and then the reference number is like the case number, for instance. We already put it up here, but you wanna type it in again, that's okay. If you have documentation to show that your smoke detector is broken and that you filed a complaint and you took a screenshots of what you were filing for and the inspector just ignored your complaint, then you can upload it here. You're gonna select I'm not a robot and then submit. Once you submit it, you're gonna receive a confirmation email that you have filed your inquiry. And then I'm gonna ask you to be checking usually the next day for the answer. I can tell you with pride that we are answering to these emails on the same day or the next day, the latest. So this is the very most helpful tool, fastest to contact or reach the housing department. Also, to receive email updates from the housing department, just please subscribe to our newsletter. Just click on the topics that you're best interested. For instance, I'm a tenant and I want to know about the tenant or renters program, or whatever the topics or the choices that you want to click on. You just click, it could be more than one, and subscribe to our newsletters. The subscription to our newsletters icon is on our website at the bottom of it. Right here, subscribe to your newsletter. You put your email, your name. Email is important because that's how you're gonna receive information for the newsletter. And then type in the list of the services that you wanna find out about. and subscribe. Another way also to keep in the loop of information or very new information, you can also subscribe to our website, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our Twitter, or our YouTube channel. So these are all links to our social media.